I think
Yes.
there are very few people in this world who are nefarious. I think
Hmm.
good people, bad things happen to good people. I think good people sometimes do bad things for the wrong reasons.
Hmm.
I think sometimes bad people do good things for the
Yeah.
wrong reasons. I think the world and how people conduct themselves is very, very complex. And you and I have talked about the concept of dichotomous thinking, which
Yes.
is either or thinking. I think either or thinking is very dangerous, and because there are always layers to people, there's layers to situations, and when you ignore the layers, then you're just looking at things from a surface level, and that's never.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'd like to welcome you to another episode of the Just Keep Showing Up podcast. This is your host, Derrick, and today I'm here with Mr. Robert Carter. How you doing, Rob?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Uh, we've talked about this a lot. Rob and I work together, and we often have very good conversations. I often say he like exercises my brain. We just have conversations. He'll share thoughts or share different things. And I'm like, man, I never thought about that. Which I think is something that's really good when you can talk to someone and they share a viewpoint or a concept, and you can say, I never thought about that. So I was like, Rob, can would you mind being on the show? And this probably is like a year in the making.
Yeah.
And things finally aligned, and here we are. So, Rob, I'd like to start this off and ask you to share something, share a few things about yourself just so the people who listening, they know a little bit about you. And there's no wrong answers.
Oh, of course. No, never. When you're talking about yourself, there's always every answer is the right answer. So,
Yeah.
well, I'm Robert Carter. I'm about to turn 55 next week. So it's a milestone age. Some people
Hmm.
consider senior citizenship starting at that. I don't think of myself as a senior citizen, but sometimes I feel like it. I spent 23 years in the Army, 23 years, 1 month, 1 day to be precise.
No, that's
And
right.
like you, Derrick, we were in the same career field as chemical, serving in the chemical corps,
Hmm.
which is very related to what we do now,
Yeah.
serving the Dragon Soldier and the chemical warfighter in the joint war space, working for the government. So
Hmm.
I've been doing that as both a contractor on the government side for 14 years after I retired, almost 14 years, and have four grandchildren, and the oldest being 14, the youngest being a couple of years, so 2 years old, and married. I've been with my wife for almost 22 years. Married for 18 of those 22, and um, just enjoying life. I have a blog, so I enjoy reading, writing. I feel like those are things you have to use to exercise your brain on a daily basis. So I have to write quite a bit for my job. I have to write quite a bit. I write quite a bit because I want to. I think being able to communicate, in multiple ways, especially through the written word, is very important. It's becoming a lost art in our society. And I am a Corvette fan, as you can see from the office behind you. I've been a Corvette fan all my life. First Corvette I ever saw was a picture of Buzz Aldrin, second man on the moon's Corvette. So I kind of wanted to do that for a living until I saw the Challenger explosion, and when I was 16 or 15, going on 16, I kind of changed my mind on that. I was like, I don't know if I want to do that. So ultimately, that led me to either a career in law enforcement, in the military. I chose the military. I am from Texas, born and raised, and born in a little town most people probably never heard of, Cleburne, Texas, which is about 27 miles southwest of Fort Worth, which is where I grew up, and joined the Army from Fort Worth. And again, never looked back. My last duty station brought me here to Maryland, and kind of liked it, and still do. And so that's why I'm here.
All right, that's good. I'll say, Rob, all this time we've been talking in the office, and I know your age because I often tell you that you're like almost the exact same age my big cousin that I lost at a very young age. would
Yeah,
have
so
been
I'm sorry to
that
hear
that
that.
age difference. Yeah, so I never once thought of considered you like a senior citizen. It's crazy.
I
You
don't
know?
think of myself that way. It's just
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
weird
yeah.
that if after next week I'll be able to go to IHOP and get a discount. I kind of
Yeah,
find that
that's what
very strange.
that's what I'm saying. It's like, I mean, you're there by age, but definitely by not by how you feel, you know, how you move around, you know. So it's just so funny that we're getting older.
Oh yeah,
It's
I mean,
just it's
it,
crazy.
yeah, the old saying is you're only as old as you feel.
Hmm.
Some days I feel very old.
Yeah.
Some days I don't. And today was kind of one of those days. Got to walk
Hmm.
around Arlington,
Yeah.
and you get a perspective on life when you go to that place, Arlington National Cemetery. For the audience that I know people know. I just wanted to say Arlington. I want to kind of make sure I'm clear on what Arlington we're talking about.
Hmm.
It's I do a lot of walking unless you take the trams,
Yeah.
and so my wife and I got our exercise on today.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. And that's it's a lot of walking there. If you go, I've
Yes,
been there a few times. It is serious.
very
Something you
serious
should.
place,
Yeah, yeah,
very
yes.
honorable place.
But it is a place to go and just honor those who made it possible for us to kind of continue to do what we do. So
Oh,
that's very
absolutely.
special.
Oh, they
Uh,
paved the way for us. That's
yeah,
for
yeah,
sure.
and I know you share many times me the what makes it special for you personally. You know what you're doing right now in life and the person you went there to go. You know, to honor today. So that kind of leads into the podcast. You know, it's the Just Keep Showing Up podcast. And I oftentimes I meet someone, and there's something about this person, and I feel uh, it just has something to offer. You know, just the small community of people that I have that tune in on the show, or something about the person that inspires me or pushes me to want to do better. And I know you and I we often have passionate conversations
We
about
do.
football and our viewpoint, but it's so much deeper than that. It's just looking at you, and like for me personally, I know that you had open heart surgery. You know, so that's something I think about. Like, man, this is somebody that's continuing to show up and continuing to push. So that's my question for you. What is it? You know, what do you do for yourself to continue to show up?
Well, I like to say that I go out in the community and do all kinds of wonderful things. I We all have the same 1,440 minutes in the day.
Hmm.
I've not done anything as far as going out in the community and doing things, at
Hmm.
least not in the recent past. But I did, as you mentioned, I did have a triple bypass back in October of 2022. So October 25th, 2022 to be precise. And I there was the events that led up to that surgery. I very
Hmm.
could have easily lost my life. Heart
Yeah.
disease is a very big thing, so I do contribute to that. So I do. My wife and I do give the charities. We give to St. Jude.
Yeah.
If we believe in children, I
Hmm.
think childhood cancer is a very insidious thing. I think it's very sad that children um, get their lives cut short, or interrupted in a very big way
Hmm.
by a disease that they're even too young to comprehend.
Yeah.
So we give to that. But bringing us back to the open heart surgery, um, I call that a wake up call. I think
Yeah.
everything that happens to you in life, whether it's positive or negative or indifferent, is designed, especially the tough times. The tough times are designed to show you things about life that you should reflect on and learn lessons from it. And so the lesson I learned and why I'm still here, and why the surgeons that performed the surgery on me, why I'm so grateful to them. And I'm not a religious man, but I am very spiritual.
Hmm.
And I think that everyone, all of God's creatures, uh, are here for a reason.
Hmm.
And I
Yes.
think I am still here for a reason, and that reason is to try to be a positive influence on not just my own family, but anybody I come into contact with. I think people, and you and I had this discussion just the other day. I think people in general are fundamentally good people. I think
Yes.
there are very few people in this world who are nefarious. I think
Mm-hmm.
good people, bad things happen to good people. I think good people sometimes do bad things for the wrong reasons.
Mm-hmm.
I think sometimes um, bad people do good things for the
Yeah.
wrong reasons.
Yeah.
I think the world and how people conduct themselves is very, very complex. And
Mm-hmm.
you and I have talked about the concept of dichotomous thinking, which
Yes.
is either or thinking. I think either or thinking is very dangerous, and because there are always layers to people, there's layers to situations, and when you ignore the layers, then you're just looking at things from a surface level, and that's never a good thing. So, without going off track, how the surgery relates to and why I think I'm still here. I think
Mm-hmm.
I'm still here, and I view that day, 25 October 2022, as a rebirth for me. I
Mm-hmm.
actually celebrated with cake and cheesecake,
Wow.
and I do that because not because I'm appreciative that I'm still here,
Mm-hmm.
but I think that I'm here uh, to serve a larger purpose. Um, I don't know what that purpose is. I think
Yeah.
the purpose is that the purpose for why we're here is always the purpose that we find within ourselves. And I have a blog, and I sort of write my thoughts. I used to talk a lot about politics in that blog, but I kind of went away from that
Uh-huh.
because I want to create a legacy not just for myself, but I
Yeah.
want anyone who reads my blog. It's the rationalram.blog. And anybody that reads my blog, I want them to walk away with not necessarily a perspective that I want them to absorb and indoctrinate themselves into, but I think I want to at least give them something to think about. Which I,
Mm-hmm.
you and I have this discussion all the time. I think folks around us think we're actually arguing and debating, and I
Yes.
was like, uh, you know, some people and some people take certain words and they assign a negative connotation to that word without
Yes.
really
Yes. Yes.
understanding that words have specific meanings, and they also have different, they have more measured layers in their meaning. Going back to what we were talking about things being layered and not just looking at things in black and white terms. Um,
Yes.
when an argument is just simply your position, your reasoning, your logic
Mm-hmm.
articulated out loud, either to just one person or to an audience, where you defend your logic. And
Yes.
nobody's logic is ever right or wrong,
Yeah.
unless we're talking about facts. The fact
Yes.
that water is wet and fire is hot, you can't argue those things. Those are things. Those are facts. You're
Are
just
you
going to make
sure that
yourself look.
you sure about that, Rob?
I mean, you can argue those things if you want to, but I think
Yeah.
I think you're going to pretty much make yourself look a little foolish.
Yes.
But when you have a position about something where there is no right or wrong answer,
Yes.
or there's a certain level of nuance, or there's a certain level of there's certain layers that you really need to account for. Everybody looks at situations a little differently, and nobody's perspective is wrong. So when never argue against someone's perspective. Just try to
Mm.
understand it.
Wow.
And if you can't find the understanding, whatever you do, don't engage in ad hominem and put the person down. Don't call them
Yeah.
stupid. Don't think of them as stupid. That's the problem that we have in society today. I don't want to delve too much into politics here,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I think the the climate that we see in today's discourse uh,
Mm-hmm.
is that people have a fundamental aversion to sitting down to someone and actually having a conversation that
Mm-hmm.
challenges their beliefs.
Yeah.
And so, some people don't want to hear the truth because they don't want their illusions shattered, which
Yes.
is never a good thing. I mean, sometimes
Mm-hmm.
you got to have your worldview shaken up a little bit
Yes.
so that you can look at the world for what it is versus what you
Mm-hmm.
want it to be.
Yeah.
So, long-winded way of kind of explaining what I'm trying to do to
Mm-hmm.
keep going up. I want to just keep showing up by being a good grandfather, being a
Yeah.
good father,
Yes.
being a
Yes.
good friend, being a
Mm-hmm.
good husband. I think that people say they are these things, say they want to be these things, but if there's one thing that my surgery taught me
Mm-hmm.
is that we're all here for a reason.
Yeah.
You have to understand what that reason is,
Mm-hmm.
and your purpose in life is to try and make people's lives better if you can.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's not just, again, not just your own family. I mean, to me, family
Mm-hmm.
is not blood. Family is what you do. Love is what you do.
Yeah.
When you care about someone, it's nice to say it, but it's
Yeah.
even better when you show it. So that's what I want to
Yes.
try and do. That's why that's what I want to try and. It's kind of funny that your show is just keep showing up. I want to keep showing love to the people I care about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's so interesting. You said love is what you do, and as you was finishing that up just now, it was like a theme of what you're saying. So is like you want to show up for others. So I have a question to ask, just kind of based on what you said, which was something that was very interesting to me, is how you defined your surgery. You say October 25th, 2022
Yes.
is considered your rebirth, and you celebrate it. I think that's such an amazing thing. And with that rebirth, I want to ask, do you look at your life now that it's not about you? It's not completely about you. It's about what can you do for the benefit of others. Now, and when I say not about you, not meaning that you're neglecting yourself, but you have a strong sense of how can I do things for others. And the reason I ask the question is I, I try to put myself in that situation. I just know, like, being in a position where I was like very, very depressed and going through a very difficult time, and almost like, and me being like thinking, believing in God, thinking about God, and like, God, you get me through it. Not that you get me through this, but like now I know, being depressed and not wanting to maybe continue on with life, just not knowing how I'm going to get through this difficult time, it's throwing me more towards others now. Like, I'm here to like show up authentically, and I just really want to just supplement the lives of other people, the people that's in my life. So like, I really look around, like just in our cubicle area, for example.
Mm-hmm.
I really believe that where I'm sitting at work and the people that's around me, they are the exact people that's supposed to be around me. And the people that's around me, they need me. Like, so I don't have to come in as a different person. I could come in as me. And it takes me back to your surgery, going through something where it feels like, man, I don't know what's the outcome of this surgery. But you made it through, and now you got a rebirth. And is that like something that's kind of that you think about when because you basically said, you summed it up, it's like you really want to, you know do for others. And doing is not always, it's not monetary, it's just be there for other people in whatever capacity that they need in that moment, and you're
Absolutely.
able to do. Yeah.
I think everybody, especially when you become an adult,
Mm-hmm.
and the older you get, you have a responsibility to teach, coach, mentor, and that's not just
Yes.
an army thing. That's
Yeah.
that's a life thing.
It is. Yeah.
And so you also have to learn to listen. And
Yes.
it used to be mentioned that in our area at work, everyone. I'm a firm believer that everyone that comes into your life is there to either change your life or for you to change theirs.
Mm-hmm.
And I also think that everybody comes into your life for a reason. They're either a
Yeah.
lesson or a blessing, or sometimes they're
Mm-hmm.
both.
Yeah.
And so I've been in work environments. It's in our organization, which I shall remain nameless, but in our organization that you and I work for, I've been in situations where I've had some very difficult bosses that I were to work for,
Yeah.
where life was very difficult.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had many, many situations like the one I'm in now where it's an absolute joy to come in, not
Yeah.
necessarily
I mean,
because
it really is.
not necessarily because of the job. I mean, the
Yeah.
job is has its own set of challenges, but challenges are a good thing.
Yeah.
People view challenges sometimes as problems. I try not
Mm-hmm.
to use the word problem
Yeah.
in my
Yeah.
life.
Yeah.
Usually, if I have a what we sometimes consider to be problems come up
Mm-hmm.
in life, I relegate those things as challenges. These are things that
Yes.
I need to meet head on and learn from it. And
Yes.
difficult times are not there to destroy you.
Yes.
Difficult times are there to challenge you.
Yes.
And so going back to the heart surgery and why I feel the way that I do, I could
Mm-hmm.
have very easily have not been here. I mean, heart disease runs in my
Yeah.
family, and it's the number one killer of folks in this country. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's far and above number one killer in this country.
Yeah.
And there's lots of reasons for that. There's lots of misconceptions
Mm-hmm.
about that. And so it was a challenge for me to take a hard look at life
Mm-hmm.
and try to be better. And not that I was a terrible person before that or anything,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
but I think we can all um, look at our lives, have a self examination, and determine what can I do to make things better. Well, how can I be a
Yes.
better person, and how
Yeah.
can I help make someone else's life better at the same time?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's kind of like a discussion that we had yesterday, where we talked about
If you
um,
say what I just wrote down, it's gonna be crazy.
the three
I just
aspects of ourselves.
I just wrote three perspectives and I put a note to like remind you to explain that again. Yes.
Yes. So great minds think alike, right? So,
Yes. Yeah, yeah.
um, the three aspects of ourselves is how we view ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
how others view us, and then how we truly are. Now, how we truly are is something that we as individuals will never really truly have a great picture of,
Mm-hmm.
because that would require you to sort of be outside of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But not to say that you can't view
Yeah.
yourself as other people view you. I mean, that requires a little bit of emotional intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Yeah.
think people really need to work on their emotional intelligence, especially in this
Mm-hmm.
day and age.
Yeah.
But to bring this back to the three aspects, it starts with being true to yourself. If
Yes.
you
Yes.
cannot be
Yes.
true to yourself, then
Mm-hmm.
you'll never be able to figure out the other two things. You'll never be able to see how you really are in any way, shape, or form, and you'll never be able to pick up on how other people view you.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is, and you got to be aware of these things. I mean, you got to be aware of them not only for your own well being, but you also need to be aware of these three aspects of yourself in order to not only work on yourself,
Mm-hmm.
but to recognize that when you're in danger.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
if you don't know what other people, it's very dangerous when you're not aware of what other people think of you.
Mm-hmm.
You're setting yourself up for trouble. You're
Wow.
setting yourself
That's
up for failure. and
mm-hmm.
and and I think that's, you and I, having spent 2 decades plus in the army, you learn a lot about that, not just
Yeah.
from the enemy trying to shoot you. That's kind of obvious.
Yes.
But you also learn that from the people around you.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't understand that, hey, these people don't like you, and instead of saying, well, why don't they like me? I mean, what people think of you is only important to a point. You shouldn't
Yeah.
care about what people think of you.
Mm-hmm.
At least not to the point to where you adjust your behavior in a way to try and get
Mm-hmm.
people to like you.
Yes.
I think that, being, like we talked about Death of a Salesman, William Wellman. To be liked is not the most important thing. It's not.
Yeah. It's yeah.
Um, I think the most important thing is to love yourself and to
Mm-hmm.
understand yourself and to be able to take constructive criticism when you hear it,
Mm-hmm.
um, or even to take unconstructive criticism when you hear it. Because
Yeah.
sometimes when you hear an insult, when someone's insulting you, there's a reason why they're insulting you.
Yeah.
And the reason may very well be that they have a problem with you, or it could very well be they have a problem with themselves, or they're jealous, or whatever.
Yeah.
That requires a little bit of emotional intelligence. And again, most emotional intelligence starts with understanding yourself.
Yeah.
And I think the better you understand yourself, the better you can have a very good picture of those three aspects of that all of us have about ourselves. The
Mm-hmm.
three perspectives of ourselves. I think the better you understand yourself, the
Yes.
better you can understand the other two things.
Yes. That's that. I agree. And we had that conversation. It was so good, and it brought like like a revelation to me when we were talking about that, and we were thinking about, the person that's viewing you, and they have their perspective of who you are, and then you know who you truly are, then you know who you're showing up to be, like your character almost. And you mentioned something. You mentioned, I wrote down, uh start with accepting who you are, where you are. And I feel like that's almost like step one, just embracing who you are, right?
Hmm.
And where you are, because you almost like in our field that we work in, you think about when we out detecting chemicals or something. The most important thing in that process, if you have a chemical detector, is that you get a background, because
Yes.
you can go into an area and you don't realize that you may feel like you're receiving something, but you don't even know where you started from,
Right.
So like the most important thing is understanding who you are, where you are, and embracing that person and saying, I have a few things that I may not like about myself, and embracing that, accepting it, because I feel like then you open yourself up for, like, almost like going to the doggone, like going to the driving, I mean, going to the weapons range. If you don't accept that you're not a good shooter, it's going to be really hard to coach you along to get better,
Absolutely.
so it's like
Absolutely.
really accepting where you are. And then when we had that conversation, the thing that was so good to me is when you can get who you desire to be and who you are to kind of come together, and accepting both of those people, then what another person thinks about you, it really doesn't matter. Like, you've built up, you operate in authenticity, and it's not that you don't care about people, but it's like you can't allow their opinion to be greater than how you feel about yourself. you
Absolutely.
know
It goes back to an analogy. I can't take credit for saying it, but
hmm
I don't remember where I'm quite certain I read it somewhere, where it's an analogy of the airline briefing, where they're
uh-huh
telling you when the cabin depressurizes and the oxygen mask come down, put your
yes,
mask on first before you help
yes.
others.
Yes,
And so the analogy of that is you got to help. You can't be if you're not a healthy person, you can't help anyone else. You're no
yes.
good to anybody else if you're not
hmm
a mentally, emotionally, physically healthy person.
yeah,
And so again, everything happens in threes. So there's those threes again. I'm not a Mason, because I know a lot
yeah,
of
yeah.
Masons that believe in that sort of thing, but
Yeah.
the three is actually a balanced number. People think it's two. That's where most
Mm.
dichotomous thinking. But the thing is that if you're not uh, equipped to help
hmm
someone, and it's not to say you do what you can to help someone. You do what's in your power to do.
hmm
But at the same time, if you're, the old saying, hurt people."
Yeah. Yes.
Well, that goes along those lines. Unemotionally healthy people can't help anybody.
Yes.
They're just going to drag you down to their level,
hmm
intentionally or unintentionally.
Yeah.
And I believe that's what creates dysfunctional families, dysfunctional friendships, dysfunctional
hmm
relationships.
Yeah.
Relationship dynamics, and I think maybe you're probably going to touch on that a little bit. This is one of the reasons why, when in my blog, I wanted to switch my focus from politics, away from politics, and into relationship dynamics, because I think
hmm
if people, I am not. One of the things, I don't know how familiar you are with the manosphere. You and I had this conversation, but the manosphere, a short, condensed version, is the functional, the male equivalent of the feminist movement,
Okay.
where I think I subscribe the word tribalism to both of those things,
Okay.
because people have this fundamental need to defend their tribe, to defend what they identify with. This is
hmm
the reason why political and religious conversations become so contentious, because people, there are personally held beliefs, whether they
Yes.
created those beliefs in their own mind, or
hmm
whether they were indoctrinated into them through cultural conditioning, through their church, through whatever
hmm
their life experience. When someone, if you're talking about Christmas, for example,
hmm
Christian people, they don't want to hear, a lot of them, not all of them, but a good number of them these days, they don't want to hear the word happy holidays.
Yeah.
And saying happy holidays to someone is not an insult. You
Yeah.
actually are wishing them happy holidays. I mean,
Yeah.
it's the holiday season. It's not just Christmas. It's New
Yeah.
Year's. It's Thanksgiving. It's you
Yeah. It's
know,
like the season of the
it's like
year.
the
Yeah.
season of the year. I mean, those are the
Yes.
3 months of the year. that you're going to have a holiday every month and a big
Mm-hmm.
holiday every month. And so people are sincerely wishing you a happy holiday season.
Mm-hmm.
And because you don't say Christmas, they take
Yeah.
offense to that because they think that you're attacking their religion. That's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're not attacking your religion. But people who have the deeply held beliefs, they get there by dichotomous thinking. They get there by not understanding that, as you so eloquently mentioned before, is everything is not about you. And that's
Mm-hmm.
one of the things
Yeah.
I learned. I mean, it didn't take me having to have my heart stopped and worked on and then revived in order for
Mm-hmm.
me to learn that everything is not about me. I can tell you right now, I'm here because it wasn't about me. It was about the doctors who saved my
Yeah.
life. It was about the people who made the diagnosis. It was about my wife who recognized that I had an issue and I needed to go get it looked at. It's me
Yeah.
listening to myself that I needed to go do this because this is not what I think it is, and I need help. And people don't
Mm-hmm.
understand that this world is connected. I don't care who you
Yes.
are. You
Yes.
could be the biggest fallacy that we have in life is we think that people who are wealthier than us or stronger than us or more talented than us are better than us. And that's
Mm-hmm.
not true. It's not true
Yeah.
in any way, shape, or form. You can't become a wealthy person. And this is not me saying this. Is Earl Nightingale. He's the anybody in your podcast wants to look him up. He's considered the father of the audiobook.
Mm-hmm.
And he passed away in 1989, and he was in his heyday around the 50s and 60s, doing albums and doing motivational speaking. He was sort of like uh, Tony Robbins before Tony Robbins.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of his content can be found on YouTube. So if you want to look at it, please
Okay.
look at it. But one of the things that he said is that you can't become wealthy, you can't become rich without enriching other people,
Yeah.
and you can't become rich without other people. That's the key.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You need people. People.
Yeah.
You can't do anything in this life without somebody else supporting it. Without
Yeah.
somebody else, I mean, what good is it to build a car if you can't sell it to anybody? What
Yeah.
good is it to create the iPhone if nobody uses it? If nobody, people have to support you. If people stop buying iPhones tomorrow, Apple would go away.
Yeah.
If people stop buying Teslas, Tesla would go away.
Yeah.
They wouldn't. There's no way they'd make any money, and that's the point. You can't get wealthy without enriching other people. I mean, and what I mean
Mm-hmm.
by enriching other people, that doesn't necessarily make you're making them millionaires. That's not what that
Yeah.
means.
Yeah. Yeah.
It means that you are, you know, um, people turn that around. Well, I'm a job creator. Okay, that's wonderful. Um, but that doesn't mean you're taking away that just because you created a job for somebody that those people that are working for you are useless. No, they're an
Yeah.
asset. You can't be rich get rich without them. You can't
Yeah.
profit without them. You can't create a product without their creativity because
Yeah.
it's not about you. And that's
Mm-hmm.
people's problem have to understand. You could be the wealthiest person in the world, the most talented person in the world. Every football player, we talk about football all the time.
Yeah.
And what I like about draft day, and I'm gonna tie this into
No,
what we're
no,
talking
you
about.
good. You good. I'm sitting here enjoying.
When we're talking about draft day,
Yeah.
I'm not excited about who my team picks. I don't care who my team
Yeah.
picks.
Yeah.
Draft flops happen all the time. What
Mm-hmm.
I care about, especially on day one, is when I look at those young men
Mm-hmm.
who have worked hard probably since they were 8 or 9 years old,
Mm-hmm.
dreaming of getting to
Yeah.
this moment.
Yes.
They're most 99% of the time, even if they're generally otherwise selfish people, they're thanking their mom, they're thanking
Mm-hmm.
their dad, they're
Yeah.
thanking their coaches, they're giving credit. They're surrounded by the people
Mm-hmm.
who gave them the reason to keep doing what they were doing
Yeah.
to get to this point because it's not easy. Nothing
Mm-hmm.
in life that's worth having ever comes easy.
Yeah.
Nothing. And if it comes easy to you, and again, you sometimes in order to hold on, is not getting power, getting wealth is never the hard. It's the hard thing to do, but it only becomes hard when or immoral when you fight to keep it, when you do
Yeah.
immoral things to keep it. If you
Mm-hmm.
have to do something that compromises your principles in order to stay where you are in life, maybe you should rethink why you are where you are. Is what
Mm-hmm.
you're fighting for worthwhile? There's always people that are there trying to bring you down, and
Yeah.
and obviously you should defend yourself against that.
Yes.
But you should never step on somebody else's toes to get to where you are and where you want to get in life. I can honestly say that in my own life, and I'm not, you know, I'm a fairly successful person. I mean, success is a relative thing.
Mm-hmm.
Success just simply means, are you happy with where you are in life?
Mm-hmm.
And I have more respect for a janitor who's content than I
Yes.
do for a billionaire CEO who never seems to be happy.
Man, that's yeah. Yes.
Because
Yes, I don't have nothing else to add. Like, I'm listening. It's just really really good, and it's so true. And you just mentioned fighting to keep it, and it's just once again I hear things stuff that I've never heard before, and you're talking about attaining something, and you definitely made it clear that you're not just talking about fighting off people who are trying to attack you. You're saying basically continuing to fight to hold on to something that that you're afraid to let go of, almost like allowing your wealth to become your identity. It's kind of
oh
almost
yeah,
what you know what I mean, and
I
it's
do.
and
Some
that's
some
and it's so true. Yeah, that
and
that right
sometimes
there.
the things you own, depending
Mm-hmm.
on what your motivation is, sometimes the
Mm-hmm.
things you own will own you,
Yeah.
and that's
Yes.
where the problem comes in. And what I mean by
Yes.
that is, you can't accumulate. I think maybe it was you and I had this discussion. I know my wife and I had this discussion the other day where we were talking about extremes,
Mm-hmm.
where you have very wealthy people on the right, and you have very poor people on the left. And I'm not talking about the political left or right. I'm just
Yeah.
speaking on a bell curve
Yes.
where and you have everybody else is in the middle. And when you have, to me, the extremely poor person is no
Mm-hmm.
better off or no worse off than the extremely wealthy person. They both sort of had the same problem, only coming from different angles. The extremely
Mm-hmm.
poor person is just every day is a struggle to survive. The extremely wealthy person every day is a struggle to stay on top.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you are that high up the ladder,
Yeah.
you only have one way to go, and that's down.
Yeah.
When you're that down low on the ladder, you only have one way to go, and that's up.
Yeah.
And so where you find happiness is where you find it. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, everybody has and you and I talked about this. Everybody has a hedonic set point,
Mm-hmm.
and hedonic meaning hedonism, which is pleasure seeking. It's not people have bastardized the word hedonism as makes it really a bad thing, and no, it's a very neutral word, because
Mm-hmm.
the pleasure you're seeking doesn't necessarily have to be at somebody's expense, or doesn't
Yeah.
necessarily have to be a detriment. I
Yeah.
mean, there is such a thing as having too much fun. So,
Yeah.
when it comes to certain things, so everybody's hedonic set point is a little different. And just to give your audience a little idea of what I mean by hedonic set point, just in a very short nutshell, you can get very used to something, to anything, when you're able to do it on a regular or a daily basis. And what I mean by that,
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you an analogy. I drive Corvettes. All right, I have fun driving Corvettes. So I don't drive them extremely fast unless I'm on a track like I am in this picture. But
Mm-hmm.
um, the power of that car, driving
Mm-hmm.
it every day, I'm used to it. So usually, sometimes if I have somebody that's sitting in the car with me that's not used to sitting in the car or driving, I don't let anybody drive my car, by the way, unless I have to.
Mm-hmm.
But people, that's a funny thing I wanted to say. But uh, if somebody's not used to the horsepower of that car,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to seem like, oh wow, this is the most powerful car I've ever driven, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas me, it's an everyday thing. I'm used to it.
Yeah.
So my
Yeah.
hedonic set point is for as far as accelerating in a fast car, is a little higher than it would be for someone who doesn't drive those things on a daily basis. And so I'm using that analogy just to say, that you can get used to anything.
Mm-hmm.
And when you get used to having that much wealth,
Yeah.
you'll do anything to hang on to that because you don't want anybody disturbing that.
Yeah.
When you're used to having $1 billion, you go from going from a billion to 10 million. That's a huge drop.
Yeah. Yes.
You're gonna
Yeah.
feel poor.
Yeah.
Or you're not, in actuality, in absolute terms, you're not. You're still rich. You're still worth
Yeah.
$10 million. I mean, come on. I mean, if you're worth $10 million, I mean, you're still in the 1%. But
Yeah.
when you go from the 1/10 of one hundredth of 1% to the one
Yeah.
tenth of 1%, that's a huge drop from a
Yeah.
hedonic set point of view. And it's the same thing when you're extremely poor. When you're extremely poor, things that you and I, where we are in life,
Mm-hmm.
we're looked at as rich. Because rich
Yeah.
is relative. And
Yes.
so, I mean, you and I are able to do things that the average person, I mean, it's pretty safe to say that we're in a position in life, without getting into too much detail, we're sort of at an above average place in life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that's a good thing.
Yeah.
But and I'm it's pretty safe to say that I'm at my hedonic set point where I am. The conversation I had with my wife, just to put a bow on it, is the reason I don't want to be an extremely rich person is because
Mm-hmm.
at some point, you have to sell your soul to the devil to keep that.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
mean, there's an old saying that behind every great fortune there's a great crime, and
Mm-hmm.
I happen to think there might be some truth to that. Because there's something that you got to do something that you cannot be a completely ethical, moral person and have that kind of wealth. Now, I'm not saying that that's a bad thing,
Mm-hmm.
because you got to have all kinds of people to make a world. And I'm certainly not hating on wealthy people. I'm not hating on billionaires. But I think life is definitely not a zero sum game, because that's what, if you were to listen to folks on the left, some folks on the left, they think that just because someone became a billionaire,
Mm-hmm.
that's somehow taking money away from them, like money, which is not a real thing to begin with, is is somehow taking something away from them. Like you have a duty to share your wealth with other people.
Mm-hmm.
No, you have a duty to do good works. If it
Yeah.
takes money to do that, great.
Mm-hmm.
But you can
Yeah.
do good things without having to pay a dime.
Yeah. That's true. That's true. All right. Yeah, that's very good. It's a lot too, which is good though. So my final question for you, Rob, is if anything that you shared, somebody like, man, he talking about some good stuff. Something you said resonated with the person that's listening. Just one final thing that you like to give some advice uh to someone.
Well, I don't want to repeat what I said about being true to yourself,
Mm-hmm.
um, but let me expand on that a
Okay.
little bit, and maybe the nice little, if if there's one takeaway I want folks listening to this particular podcast to take away from me, and I want to say thank you for having me, because this has
Oh, you're
been
very
fun.
welcome. Thank you for being here.
And
for
and yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I appreciate it. It's an honor for me as well. I'm just Derrick, you know what I mean?
Yes,
So
sir. Yes, sir.
yeah, so I
But
appreciate
but
it.
but I'm going to say, I'm just Derrick. You're just Derrick. I'm just Rob. And that's
Yeah.
you have to be true to yourself.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Please be true to yourself. I mean, people always put on a front, and I think social media is a big part of this. We put this face on, and
Mm-hmm.
when you present a face that's not true to you,
Yeah.
the downside of not being true to yourself is that other people that come into your life won't be true to you, because they're not
Mm-hmm.
seeing you. They're seeing the
Wow.
idea of you. They're
Wow.
they're seeing the representative that you're putting out there that may not be the true you, because you're busy trying to impress someone else with with uh,
Wow.
with wealth, flash, athleticism, confidence. Confidence is not something you got to work at. You either
Yeah.
have it or you don't. And everybody can have it, but
Yes.
where self confidence comes in is self love. It begins with being true to yourself and
Mm-hmm.
liking who you are for
Yeah.
who you are,
Mm-hmm.
and not trying to put on some kind of front. Because at the end of the day, the people who truly care about you don't care what you look like when you get up in the morning. They don't
Mm.
care if you get sick. They're going to be there for you when you're needed, when they need you, or
Mm-hmm.
when you need them, because they'll
Yeah.
know that you're going to be there for them. And so when you're true to yourself, being true to yourself and having an understanding of yourself, the good and the bad. You and I had this conversation the other day where you gave me, without going into specifics, you gave me some very good constructive criticism,
Mm-hmm.
and you thought I was going to take it the wrong way. I was like, no, I'm a very gregarious, verbose person when I want to be.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I do know how to shut up and listen, but at the
Yeah.
same time, I enjoy dialogue with folks,
Yeah.
and and sometimes um, I do say things. I know that I don't rub everybody the right way all the time. Nobody ever
Mm-hmm.
does. And
Yeah.
if you're not aware of your shortcomings as well as your strengths,
Mm-hmm.
then you can never be a well-rounded person. And so
Yeah.
what I want your audience to take away from this, expanding on that, being true to yourself, is understand that part. Be willing to take constructive criticism,
Mm-hmm.
and but I also want to caution, to add a caveat to that: never, and this is a cliche, but it's absolutely true. Never take criticism from people you will not go to for advice.
Yeah. That's very true. And I gotta go back to, it was supposed to be like that was gonna be like the wrap up, but I have to go back to what you said about because this is what I caught from it when you said if you're not being true to yourself, basically, and you're showing up as someone else, it's impossible for someone to be true to you, and that is so. If you just listen to what you said and don't catch what you said, you can miss it. So you can have a person that you're engaging with that's really being genuine, but they're being genuine to someone that you're not. So they're not even trying to not be true to you. You're not giving them an opportunity to embrace who you really are.
Absolutely,
So and we can't turn around and now turn that person into this bad person because like you weren't being authentic from the beginning. And you have to, and the only way you can short with their authenticity is you have to like do little steps. All it takes is just one person to establish a relationship with, a friendship with, that you can really show up and be yourself with. And I know for us as men in our community, in our society, I feel like it's so important, to have someone like another man that you can call if it's just one person and you break down and cry. I feel like that's just so important because that's not like a manly or a womanly thing. That's a human thing. All
absolutely.
these different things. So yes, I just had to come back and touch on that again because I thought it was so insightful to say, if you're not showing up as who you truly are, it's really hard for someone else to honor who you are too because they're learning someone that you're not.
Yep.
So
I mean,
yeah,
one of the biggest obstacles in relationships is that we tend to fall in love or hang our friendship on the idea of someone, the
yeah,
idea that's in our head, and that
yeah.
idea that's in our head is coming from the person presenting a picture to you
Mm-hmm.
that may or may not be who they really are.
Yeah.
And when you're an authentic person, and this is really
Mm-hmm.
the other lesson in that, other caveat, of you
Yeah.
might want to be true to yourself, is when you are true to yourself, you're able to see when other people are not being true to themselves.
You can. You really can, Rob. You really you really, really can. And it's not, and you don't really have to look hard for it at all.
No, not at
You
all.
can just
I
you
mean,
just gotta
people turn off their instincts
yes.
when they're trying to present a false picture. I
Mm.
only want you to see me this way,
That's a
and
whole
that's a
that's
whole other show that
a
you could
whole
probably
nother
do.
show right there. See, now you went from bachelor's to master's. That's PhD right there because that is so true. Because you put everything down because you're so focused on making sure you present this certain thing that you lose everything else that comes natural and you don't realize it because you're so focused on. So that's why oftentimes what you do is listen to what people don't say, not so much
Yes,
what they say. Yeah. So
absolutely. And
yes.
that requires emotional intelligence.
Yes, sir. All right, we're gonna end it right there. All right.
Hey,
Thanks everybody for checking out the show. Until next time, peace.